boy.
And man, I got something special for you folks to chomp on because, yes, this clip is 18 minutes long, and we're not going to play the entire duration of it. But we will play you.
Gotta give you some of it.
We gotta give you some.
So good.
It's like
Mwah.
It's very, very, very. Okay, enough blabbering and more playing the clip.
Doesn't feel so good getting interrupted, does it, Punky Brewster? You know, quite frankly, you really hurt my feelings last week. I extended out my hand like a gentleman. And you really hurt my feelings. I mean, it was almost as bad as the time you quit, took your ball, and went home like a little bitch. You know what was great, though? The pipe bomb. Everybody loves the pipe bomb, right, Chicago? Yeah, my God, so good. Legendary. What you would call a great promo. And I think it's fair to say, Punky, that the pipe bomb is your best moment. Except here's the problem, bud. Every MJF moment is the best MJF moment. Because unlike you, I'm not a one-trick pony. And don't get it twisted, I respect you, man. I respect everything you've done. Hell, I even respect the fact that you're straight edge. Granted, never in my wildest dreams could I have possibly imagined a straight edge man could look so much like a meth addict.
Oh, wow. Ouch.
But you know what I can respect, CM? Is how you handle our little situation here. And you can pretend there isn't one, but there is. There is. You know, you would do all your quaint little interviews and they would ask you, who are some opponents you would like to go up against? And you would name every single wrestler underneath the sun, except for moi. Now you can pretend it's because you weren't interested, but in reality, it's because you didn't want none. And who could blame you, Punky? I mean, your whole entire career on the stick, you've been big fish, small pond, and standing across from me, you're just a freaking minnow. You didn't want to go toe-to-toe with me on the stick, punk? Well, too bad. Because I'm about to verbally finish you quicker than your UFC career.
Yeah, what's up?
Stream 85 channels and save up to
Let's get into it.
$500 a year. YouTube TV.
Let's get into it now.
Let's get into it. That's enough.
Okay.
We're gonna end up listening to that whole fucking thing.
It was so grand.
There we have a small taste of it. AEW gives us a small Thanksgiving present, and they give us the 18-minute promo battle. They give us the 18-minute promo battle between MJF and CM Punk.
There's just so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
And after all that wildness, CM Punk calls MJF first. He says MJF stands for my most jealous fan, which gets an absolutely insane reaction, and then calls him a less famous Miz. Wow.
Shots fired.
Wow. And I really love this. MJF did a fantastic job here. He's a fantastic heel, and he's really calm under pressure. He got through all his shit. He did not fuck his shit up. He's smooth, but CM Punk is light years ahead of him.
He took that dude to school.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the highlights of that promo battle, CM Punk said the only way you're going to be number one in this company is if you marry Tony Khan's daughter.
Tony Khan had a daughter. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, he's got a valid point. MJF is a very by the book, won't, cross boundaries unless, those were genuine fireworks. I loved it.
Yes, I laughed at this because MJF refers to himself and a few of the wrestlers in AEW as one of the 4 pillars of AEW, and CM Punk said Britt Baker has surpassed you as one of the 4 pillars. Ha ha ha!
He's like
incredible.
Yes.
And so after that 18-minute promo battle, the show opened with CM Punk versus QT Marshall. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me?
The stream has been interrupted by the podcast. This craziness is brought to you by Straight Jackets Incorporated. Or Crazy Incorporated. Where Straight Jackets and Crazy Mentality are the new in, folks. It works!
Of all the people to give CM Punk a match against, they'd give it to QT Marshall. Shouldn't have been maybe like Jay Lethal, who was the new big signee. That probably would have been pretty great, but CM Punk wins this ho-hum ass match with the go to sleep, and then we got a Christian Cage and Lucha Express promo. I guess they're kind of a crew now. I guess they just roll together after that street fight. I guess it's gang in this bitch, huh?
It's back to, well, it's not faction heavy. But it's, I'm aligned with you because we have a common interest in hating Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and the Young Bucks.
Yeah, they didn't really say anything. They didn't really say anything that crazy. Yeah, but I really like the next up. We got Eddie Kingston having that sweet promo with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Eddie Kingston makes the most of every time he's on. He makes the most of every time he's on the screen, and I really, really enjoy it.
He's just a genuine. That's his genuine self. That is really him. That's how he. Even if it's wrestling, even if it's in front of camera, that's how Eddie is. That's how he is, and his genuine sincerity is kind of like getting over with the crowd really well.
Yes, I also like 2.0. I think they're super fucking annoying. I really, 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 really like that they're super fucking annoying, and I like that they're an actual true tag team, which I think that's a lost thing. And Daniel Garcia is a bad motherfucker, and he's putting in these great matches. This promo with each other sets up Eddie Kingston's match with Daniel Garcia for Rampage. Next, Billy Gunn and his kids are taking on Beyond Wrestling's Bear Country. How do you feel about Billy Gunn being pushing 60 out there with his kids kicking ass?
The dude doesn't look a day over 60, I'm telling you. Looks like he hasn't lost a step.
Yes, the Gun Club picks up the win over Bear Country, but the real story here is Sting and Darby Sting and Darby came back for revenge after getting their asses kicked by the Gun Club, and good lord, fucking Darby clobbered him, knocked that fucking kid on his head. Holy shit.
This came full speed like a small torpedo,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is definitely that was wild. This is not something I want to see. I wanted to see more of MJF versus Darby Allin, But I'll take that kid getting fucking absolutely obliterated. Next, we got a Bobby Fish and Adam Cole promo that was interrupted by the Best Friends. I guess that was setting up Rampage. So next we got Taz confronting Dante Martin and asking him, "Hey man, are you joining Team Taz or what?" And I guess Dante Martin, the kid who looks scared to be out there, is joining Team Taz. So I guess the cool team of Leo Rush and Dante Martin is over. Leo Rush looked like he was about to cry.
That was kind of like, wow, you just put them together, so you put him. That kid still looks uncomfortable as all get out. Like, he just.
Yes.
It's kind of awkward.
The wrestling part, he's
got
fine.
that pat.
Oh, he's good. He's good. But the part where he has to interact and be,
He needs a mouthpiece, so I guess that's where Taz comes in.
Yeah, I think Leo Rush worked a little bit better because they got a little team going, and I feels like Team Taz really isn't doing anything for any fucking buddy. Next, we got Jamie Hayter taking on Thunder Rosa in that's one of the tournament matches for the TBS title, and I enjoy anytime Thunder Rosa's on the screen.
Thunder Rosa is one of those very rare female talents that has the magnitude or the draw. I mean, not the ire of Trish Stratus or maybe not the a presence of Lita, but she's a presence nonetheless, and she does really good presentation, everything, wrestling, playing to the crowd, gang empathy and all that stuff. But you know what? For Britt Baker and Rebel to be out there and her to still pull off a victory is pretty damn amazing.
I like that match. Thunder Rosa pulled out a sweet Peruvian necktie during the course of the match. Jamie Hayter's interference from Britt Baker, it backfired and Rosa picked up the win. Chris Jericho had a promo next, and I instituted the Chris Jericho rule, and I fast forwarded that shit. Next up, we got Colt Cabana making his hometown comeback, taking on the American Dragon Bryan Danielson in a pretty hard-hitting fucking match. It was a little bit of European wrestling at the beginning of it, but Dragon took over and ended up beating up Colt pretty bad.
Didn't he pull out his tooth?
He didn't pull out his tooth.
He knocked his tooth
he
out.
He knocked his fucking teeth out, and I guess Colt Cole got his fucking ass kicked, and Adam Page came out to stop the ass kicking, and they ended up getting into a little scuffle. So American Dragon versus Adam Page is coming along nicely. So far, so good, man. This was a pretty good show, I want to say. And that set up the big 8-man tag of Cody, the Lucha Brothers, and Pac. I guess the Death Triangle is still together, taking on Andrade, Malachi Black, and FTR in an all-star 8-man tag match.
Yeah, and Tully and Arn at ringside. Yeah,
it was good to see them. It was good to see them on the. It was good to see them on opposing sides, and I do agree with you. I felt like this was definitely a one of those AEW style chaotic matches, but I felt this wasn't as chaotic as a Young Bucks or Kenny Omega match.
Yes.
This I don't want to glaze over on this. I like that Cody threw his fucking dumb belt in the crowd, and Chicago chucked that motherfucker back. Fuck you. We don't want that fucking thing.
The other sad thing is when JR has to mutter under his breath, "Embarrassing." He doesn't cover the mic. JR, it's okay. Just call it like it is. All right, Cody. It wasn't about the match. Was not about him, and he tried to play to the crowd, and that's whatever. But I think the match was fairly well paced. You had a lot of action going on, and in fact, at one point, Tully and Arn did get in the ring. Then they beat the hell out of Jose, I think it was. Yeah, they beat the hell out of him. That was on the same page for just a brief moment. And then they're like, okay, old man versus old man, legend versus legend. And then the distraction from those two ended up having Malachi Black spray black mist into the eyes of Pac. And that allowed El Idolo to hit his move. And then 1, 2, 3.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The heels picked up the win, and after the match, they beat up on Cody a little bit more, because why not? Fuck Cody Rhodes, right? Going into Rampage, I'm going to just flat out say that I tried to watch Rampage, but I couldn't because Chris Jericho is a psychopath, and he's always screaming and hollering, and he makes everything unfucking watchable. But I do have results for you. The team of Adam Cole and Bobby Fish pick up the win over the best friends of Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. Next, Britt Baker dropped a surprise. So she lost a match to Rio for some reason.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Rio still works here. I guess we're gonna, we're gonna give her a rematch because wasn't she? Yeah, she was a champion at one time. So fuck it, why not? Eddie Kingston defeated Daniel Garcia in your TV main event. I bet this was a fucking slobber knocker with those two guys beating the fucking piss out of each other. So that's your Rampage report, and a little news coming out of AEW. Get well soon to Jim Ross, who announced that he's got to take some time off due to his issues with skin cancer, and he's going to be using radiation to zap that shit and get that the fuck out of here. So, Jim Ross, get well soon.
Godspeed, dude.
Fuck yeah. That's all I got for AEW, my boy.
Well, you know that you dislike this man, you hate this man, you boo this man, you cheer this man. While I play the ads from YouTube, because knowing that'll ensue when I play these things on YouTube, I should have got 3-month trial free. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing something new on Wrestle Radio Network. We are like spinning the wheel and seeing which person we should discuss about their career and honor them, debate, whatever. So allow me to play the intro. Who we're going to chat about next. So bear with me.
Oh, I heard Insecure's good. What episode are we? Let's ask Google. Play Insecure.
They wear red robes. It's kind of...
Don't you just love ads that screw things up, folks?
Welcome to finding anything on any app TV. Welcome to Google TV.
Yep, welcome. Okay, I don't need to go into your time is up, my time is now. But we are discussing the man that gets discussed quite a bit in pro wrestling circles, even outside arenas. That man's name still pops up. The one, the only, the incomparable John Cena, who has several accolades that we're not going to spend too much time going into. But first and foremost, if we're going to start with Mr. Cena, I think we should start from the top. So the class of gentleman that was in his class in OVW. He's got his start for Rick Bassman in 2000 for the UPW, where he was there with Samoa Joe, and he was discovered by Jim Ross, who brought him to OVW. And he was in a fantastic class with Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Dave Bautista, and Shelton Benjamin. That's a wild, wild, wild class, and he was being taught by none other than Jim Cornette, who is a fantastic, fantastic teacher. Yes, Corny has a lot of talent. I mean, he had Smoky Mountain Pro. He was in charge of OVW back then, the day before it passed on. And to move forward past that, Cena was in the same class with Lesnar, Batista, Orton. And out of that, the production of OVW produced Rico Constantino, Matt Morgan, Basham Brothers, Eugene, Rene Dupree, and so on and so forth.
Yes, yes, yes. OVW definitely was a great breeding ground for a lot of WWE talent. He was brought into SmackDown around 2002, and he started his shit off in a big way by slapping Kurt Angle in his dumbass fucking face, man.
He got in Kurt Angle's face as a rookie, and normally rookies in WWE, they're either a one-hit wonder and never spoken of again unless it's brought up on the network, on Peacock, and what have you. But he said Kurt Angle had an open challenge, and John Cena answered the open challenge, and he goes, "What brings you out here?" And that coined the phrase in the beginning of the year, ruthless aggression.
Yes, 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 yes. That was a good jump off point. And at this time, John was pretty much a white meat baby face, pretty much just kind of coasting until he kind of got his fucking leg broke by Brock Lesnar. And that's where he started cutting those tough promos. And he says, "Well, you got the F5, well, I got the FU." And that's when he comes back with the blue jean shorts and
The jerseys.
the jerseys, and he had the body card of he had Bull Buchanan as his body card, B squared. I thought this was pretty fucking funny. I like the freestyle rapping.
Yeah, this is basic thugonomics. I mean, the presence when he came out, in 2003, I believe it was, when he started all that, it just caught on like wildfire, man, and people ate it up.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, yes, he did. And so around that time, it was pretty much. He was kind of floating around in the mid card, that high mid card, making his way downtown, walking fast. And they took some. I don't know if you remember, but he took some time off to go record or to go do the Marines. So they played it off like he got stabbed in a club by Aaron Aguilera. You remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
So when Cena came back, he won the U.S. title from the Big Show at WrestleMania 20 to open the show, and this was a great step forward for John's career. The New York crowd was very very much behind him at this point. A couple years later, they were not so much behind him, but we'll get there.
And let's see. Okay. Well, I kind of fast forwarded on my stuff, partner. So
I'll pick it up. So John Cena ends up winning the Royal Rumble, and he's going on to take on JBL, who was the longest reigning WWE champion in SmackDown history or whatever, some accolade, and the promos for this was really really good. This was John really coming along.
yeah, I mean, John Cena's a natural on the mic from when you love him or hate him, dude. Like, he can talk, and him and JBL made magic.
Yes. So John wins the title at WrestleMania 21 in LA, which led to a just disgusting bloody match at Backlash of 2005, and shortly thereafter that, John was drafted to Monday Night Raw in a huge moment.
Yes, when he was brought over to Raw, people, Eric Bischoff at first, welcomed Cena to the scene of Monday Night Raw. It was a big, big deal.
Yes. So Cena on Raw, the first feud he was locked into was a little run with Chris Jericho and Eric Bischoff, with ended up John ending Chris Jericho's career on the show. We're not gonna talk about him versus Edge, but we will fast forward 2006 when he took on Rob Van Dam at that fucking crazy one night stand.
Oh man, if Cena wins, we riot signs and all kinds of crazy shit. They're like, or whatever. This is wrestling. They were shocked when Cena, got brutal with Rob, and it actually, I guess, dragged out Cena's ability to be aggressive again, but in a different wavelength. And then at the end of the match, Edge comes in the ring. It wasn't Edge. We didn't know. Oh wait, who is this biker dude who spears Cena with a biker helmet and essentially helps Rob Van Dam win a WWE championship?
Yeah, which was very, very surprising. John lost the championship to Rob, and in turn, Rob also won the ECW championship, which was a pretty wild moment for the jump off to the revamp of ECW. At this time, John is off and running here, man. He has the outstanding feud with Edge that really took him into another stratosphere. He had fantastic matches against Bobby Lashley at the Great American Bash, and which leads us to 2007, which the build to WrestleMania was John and Shawn Michaels, and wow, Shawn versus John Cena at WrestleMania 23.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 23, really great match. But the next night on Monday Night Raw, the rematch, something we haven't seen in a long time, a 1 hour Broadway between Shawn and John that took so many segments and pushed a scheduled match between Randy Orton and Edge off the show.
I'm just saying, like, it's a rarity to remember a John Cena match, which was, there's a lot remembering, despite people, like I keep saying, how much you love this man or hate this man. That match was pretty good.
Yeah, I like, I was watching a lot of Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling No at the time, so I was one of those. I was kind of like an AEW fan before AEW, where I just thought what I was watching was the best shit in the world and everything else was pretty stupid, but I always felt that, like, John had a good match, even though I hated his guts, because you never know, he might bleed his brains out, or see, you might see some cool match with Rob Van Dam. I like to hate John Cena, I guess, and that match with Shawn Michaels was absolutely incredible, and he stayed up with the Heartbreak Kid. At this time, John's just cooking, John is just rolling, and he cranked out, I think he cranked out 12 rounds at this point. He cranked out the Marine. He had a rap album, multiple tag titles runs. I mean, John is really just he's the face of the company, and he's the complete opposite of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Meaning it was not short-lived?
And he's 1,000 times more wholesome,
The beer swilling, getting in beer truck. He did have a tiny feud with Vince, but it wasn't that big.
I think at some point everybody feuds with Vince McMahon, but it really wasn't anything
special.
Exactly. And so inevitably, John Cena gets locked into what felt like an internal feud with Randy Orton, who is the yin to his yang almost. And at this time, didn't Randy Orton attack John's dad and kick him in his fucking melon head?
Yeah, but before all that, man, this thing started July 23rd, when, let's see here, 2007. Oh, yeah, he attacked him after a match with Booker T.
Yes, yes, indeed. Oh, I want to mention there was a great match, a great fatal four-way with John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Randy Orton. A real great one. I wish I could remember the name of the show off the top of my head. I was just pulling that one out of thin air. I really liked that one. Yeah, man. John Cena's rolling along until 2010, and then the Nexus happened.
That was, okay, so
Let's talk about the Nexus.
there was 8 rookies once upon a time of Justin Gabriel, young Daniel Bryan, who's gung-ho about the, then you had, let's see here.
It was Justin Gabriel, Wade Barrett, Heath Slater, Skip Sheffield,
Michael McGillicuddy.
Nah, that was season 2.
Oops.
Michael Tarver. Are you keeping count? What was the gay one?
Darren Young.
Darren Young. So, NXT, the first season of NXT really wasn't a wrestling show. It was some kind of weird hybrid thing where you were a rookie and you had a coach who was a veteran, and you had to compete in stupid games and then maybe have a match. Yeah, NXT was, the first season of NXT was pretty fucking stupid. And so after Wade Barrett won the whole thing, he led a contingent in an absolutely shocking moment on Monday Night Raw where the contestants of NXT, the first season of NXT, attacked the fucking everybody. John, Jerry King Lawler, stagehands. It was shocking.
I think that it was definitely groundbreaking because it was definitely breaking the norm of what was normally going on. And this all, I guess you'll lean into this, but they had beat somebody at an event, and I think they forced hands, because David Otunga was also involved in this.
Oh, right, David Otunga.
And him and Barrett were not seeing eye to eye about who's going to be the leader of the Nexus, which ultimately ended up in kind of the demise with the Nexus. It was very weird. The Nexus had a very weird timeline, man.
Yes, they had a big match at they had a big match at SummerSlam, which brought back Bret Hart was on
The general manager.
Yeah, so that kind of spiraled out of control there, and at one point John had to join the Nexus for some reason.
It was very weird.
Yeah, that was a weird time, and it just felt like, I think that really was one of those things where people were complaining that everything felt like it just John got fed everybody, and everybody was just going to lose to him at some point, and that's what happened.
And then, I want to say, I don't want to fast forward too much without leading into it, but Survivor Series, this was the beginning of the end for Wade Barrett.
Yeah, I think Wade really didn't recover that well after the series of the feud with John, and he literally got buried in chairs at the TLC match. Yeah, what could have been,
I mean, the time could have changed in wrestling history a little bit. It maybe not, because Cena was the man at the time for the company and was a man for a very long time. But I feel like, personally speaking, like I said, Nexus's timeline between that and the new Nexus, which is a different subject for a different day. I believe Cena and Barrett's feud was short-lived. Could have been extended. Don't know. But we've got to move forward. So, let's see. Oh, okay. I forgot about that. I wrote in the notes that Cena was taken out on a stretcher when they attacked him. Okay, that's something new. And then, let's see, 2013 is 2016. He had small matches here and there and really wasn't involved with the company as much as he used to, but like...
Wait a minute, what are you doing?
I'm saying, like, I'm reading by my notes and I don't want to go out of order here, so it's just like, we started with...
After the Nexus feud, he went into the feud with CM Punk and The Rock.
Okay, there we go.
So, yeah, how about those promo battles, John Cena and The Rock, huh?
Man, I'll never forget that. I was like sitting and watching to see what one another was going to say. And The Rock would always do these little special tidbits filming, even when he's not in the arena. And even if it was pre-taped, it still was good. I don't recall which promos when and where and what arena, but I know that The Rock and Cena faced off the first Mania that I went to at Mania 29, and that was horrible.
Yeah, The Rock interfered in the match with the Miz, which set up the year-long rivalry between the two, which included The Rock coming back at WrestleMania. Which included The Rock coming back at the Survivor Series to take on the Miz and R-Truth.
Oh wow!
So after that, we sprinkle on his fantastic run with CM Punk, which included the pipe bomb. Incredible stuff here. See, I would honestly say, in my opinion, John Cena's 2011 and 2013 was very, very good, but really after this, the 2013 to 2016 run was really when it was starting to slow down. It felt like
it did. It felt like the second time around with those two. We knew that it had to be Cena because the first time around, when the crowd was already chanting, saw this last year, and the second one, it's just, I'm sorry, folks, I'm a bit tired here, apologize, but yes, the feud did die, and I will leave it at that.
Sorry, I'm getting a little off I'm getting a little off track myself. 2013 saw Brock Lesnar coming back and beating the shit out of John, and them having a pretty stiff fucking match at Extreme Rules that year.
Yes.
John also took an epic thrashing, and he was the first recipient and first person taken to Suplex City, where he ate like 26 suplexes and got no fucking offense in. That was wild. I'm not going to mention the rehashing of the Cena-Orton feud. Then we get the first series of matches with Bray Wyatt. I like these, even though people say that John shouldn't have won this series of matches or shouldn't have won this feud. I think that they were all very good, which led to a great WrestleMania match.
At Mania 30, right?
Yes.
That was a very interesting intro for both men. Bray Wyatt, for those of you who don't know the background, it's like 2013. They attacked John Cena. They cost him his world title match against Orton. And Bray Wyatt then, started the shit with John Cena. And that led into a match at Mania and then a rematch at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, and that had all the kids coming out and saying he's got the whole world in his hands. I thought this was very creepy. This was very, very much. I thought this was way creepier than the last thing that Bray Wyatt did. I wouldn't mind kind of talking about Bray Wyatt at some point if we're going to be doing these bios.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think Bray Wyatt's run in WWE definitely something to talk about because it was very weird, but it produced some great matches. Um, yeah, I don't want to got a little off topic there, but so yeah, John Cena won the feud with Bray Wyatt. Let's see what else went on with John. John had a great run with great little trilogy with Kevin Owens when Kevin Owens got WWE from the main roster. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, he came up as the NXT champion and basically beat John Cena. And it kind of set the tone. It's like, well, we knew Kevin was going to get the call up from NXT because he's tearing it up. And most like NXT call ups, they either get fed to John Cena at the time or they, get forgotten. Well, Owens made a statement and his feud with Cena, that was all right.
Yes, it was some good matches there. Next, during that time, John was the U.S. champion where he defeated Rusev, and that's when Rusev came out in a tank. And while being the U.S. champion, John had the open challenge where he was giving mid card and lower tier guys shots at the title, and that had some great results, and that had some great matches with Cesaro at the time.
Yeah, another guy that's definitely. Well, he's definitely got testing. He's got a chance, to make his way back into the fray, folks. Sorry, I couldn't spit out my words. I'm a bit sleepy, but it's okay. We're live on air.
So yeah, the the last little bit of stuff we get out of John, his last kind of run was his big run was with AJ Styles, and wow. That match at Royal Rumble that year in 2017, I believe, or 2018, incredible when John tied for 16 championships. Absolutely great.
Well, every record's meant to be broken or tied. You can't. It's something in sports history that's never going to change. Are there certain championship reigns that can be broken? Yes. Eventually, will Cena come back and do it? I don't know. I mean, 16 times is a lot for Ric Flair over the decades. 16 times for John Cena. A lot of people will argue it. But look, there's no doubt that that's a huge accomplishment in any line of sports. That's like winning 16 Super Bowls.
I don't mind. I don't mind John being tied for 16 championships with Ric Flair. I know people will say that John's not in the league of Ric Flair and blah 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 blah, but John has done a lot for professional wrestling and has really given a lot, and it takes a lot to be the second coming of Hulk Hogan. It takes a lot to be the guy for the company for that long.
He hears it all the time, folks. I'm not a Cena mark myself, but I will say this. When you hear 5 moves of doom, or when you hear, everyone, he gets the title handed to him. No, it's because, of any other guy at that time from the span of 2002 to 2000, was it 16, 17, that was really making headway like Cena's. Like, Cena was not only doing wrestling, he's making appearances. He was guest starring on TV shows. So, yeah, he is the second coming of Hogan, per se. But not to the effect where there were steroid trials and, and guys wanting it out for you. I'm sure there's guys that have horror stories to tell about Cena. But for what he did for wrestling, like the Make-A-Wish and all the stuff outside of professional wrestling that John Cena accomplished, you gotta give the man props. He walked into a hostile ECW crowd who wanted nothing to do with his ass in Hammerstein Ballroom in my neck of the woods in New York. Okay, there's tough crowds everywhere, but the point is, The man survived a lot of injuries. The man survived surgeries. There's a lot of wrestlers that compliment John on working with him. They say, even CM Punk will say, I know, did you have a problem with John Cena? Oh, no, I didn't have a problem with him. You asked The Rock, did you have a problem with John Cena? No, I didn't have any issues with him. So there must be something proper that he's doing in order to survive the critics and all the fans saying, man, we can't stand you, but yet you watch his ass anyways. So point being, yes, there are wrestlers we can't stand. Cena, I used to have a deep hatred for it. Really didn't really care for him back in '08 because it didn't. Honestly, that's when I tuned out wrestling, period. And I never thought I'd do that. But when it turned back on, who's the one face I kept seeing? John Cena. I didn't like the guy, but I mean, here he is being consistently showing up to work and putting on a show, whether there was 8,000, 20,000, however many people was in the stands, you know. He was and still is a performer, and I guarantee you, if he gets a call again, it's like, hey, John, can you come at SummerSlam? Sure, man, when do you need me?
Yeah, man. And I think like that's a great way. I think that's a great place to end it.
Yeah, and we thank you for tuning in to our first live edition of Wrestle Radio Network. Is there a need for Off the Rails? I really don't. I mean,
I don't think we got. No. I don't think we need one.
No, there's no need tonight. First time ever they put a lid on my mouth. Holy shit! Is the ground still shaking? All right, folks. This has been Wrestle Radio Network. If you'd like to download our episode, you can download it for free on iTunes. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, our Instagram on the gram is Wrestle_Radio. You can message him directly, Pizza Simpson, or myself on Twitter. Do I even use Twitter? Yeah, I do. Don't worry. Good night. Toodles, bitches. We gotta get our beauty rest. All right. Maestro, if you could, please. Hit our goodbye music.